are starting another adventure. Today, I'm going to be hitting the new River Dries, which is a section I've never kayaked. However, I have rafted. And for those of you who are not paddlers who might be watching my video, the Dries is called the Dries because usually, well, it's pretty dry. But there is a scheduled release, so they will wet the Dries for today, and we will be paddling. The release flow is usually between 2,000 and 2,500 CFS, and I'm not sure exactly what the release is going to be for today, but it's in that ballpark. We've got a couple of friends that I'm going to be going with, so my friend Josh is going to be paddling with me today, and Brent, who I have paddled with before in a different capacity. I was on a rafting trip on the Upper Gully and was invited to go along with a group from his work. So we went, and that was a great time. But I'm really excited. I'm really pumped. This is going to be a little bit of a step up for myself. He said it's, Brent was telling me that this is similar to Narrows at this level. So if I swim, I swim. I'm only going to get better by pushing myself, so that's what we're going to do. But Josh is fresh off of his instructor training, and Brent had a level 4 instructor training that he let go this past year. So both are really good paddlers, and Josh and I are both looking to really step up. So we're really excited to go along with Brent on this trip and have him show us the lines. We may also have another friend I've paddled with before on the Cheat Narrows River. We'll see if she gets there. I'm not sure, but I am pumped. Let's go. Every good trip needs fuel. Thank goodness for coffee. Let's roll. Down through here? I'll follow you. Cool. Let's pull out. Let's let that block behind me. Catch the edge behind the white rock. Okay.
and then we'll kind of make an S-turn after that. There'll be another big eddy. We'll talk about the second rock pile after that.
Okay.
You just kind of avoid that.
What? You're gonna go? Did I see you on the rock?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I.
Those are kind of, in my opinion, the two worst rapids on the run.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we'll kind of have to, less coming. We'll have some fun with rocks, but with no fun. Yeah,
That was kind of, you had to make it around.
we wanted to get around.
Yeah, you made it work. You gonna go right or go for the boost? I kinda like the thought of trying to boost. Huh? Alright. On the left or the right side? Left? There's your train bridge, Graham. I try to get them for you every time I pass them. So I am getting a post-paddle meal in at the burger cart. Pretty pumped about that. I've got some jalapeno poppers and a cheeseburger coming to me. But the new River Dries, awesome. I loved it. Came through everything all right. Didn't have any real problems. Came down one. I got kind of like turned around backwards on one rapid with some big waves, but I was able to come down backwards a little bit and then get myself corrected. It was pretty awesome. Love it. Anyways, it's been an awesome day, and I couldn't ask for a better day to paddle. Burger cart. Quality burger. I recommend it. This is good. Definitely. Jalapeno poppers are really good. If you like them, I recommend them. Yep. Good stuff right there. Yep. New River Dries. Stop at Smithers on the way back. Go to Burger Cart. A+ day. Everybody, it's your paddling pastor Nathan here, and I hope you enjoyed that video of my personal first ascent on the Dries. And so we were really excited, Josh and I. We were at work, and I got the invite, and he told me to invite Josh along as well, and so we went, and it was like it was just a really good time, and Brent was great showing us down, so I was really happy to paddle with him. But it was really cool to run into also. As you can tell, the paddling group was bigger than what I expected. I was thinking like we might have 4 people there, and we ended up having a whole crew. And so there was David, who was Josh and I's roll instructor this past year while we went to roll clinics, and so I knew who he was. His sister Sarah, I think it was paddling with him, and then there was another guy who I'm not sure who he is. Don't remember his name. He told me his name. Sorry, dude, if you're watching. I'm terrible with names, but he seemed to know everybody else. And then there was Claire and Anthony, and that couple was there. And I had actually paddled with them on the Cherry River, so that was pretty cool to just run into these people that I already knew. And I kind of knew that they were good paddlers, but I also had some like really good familiarity with them too. So that just really made me more comfortable on the river. And it was so funny. I'll have to admit that Claire, she looked so tiny on this video. The camera does not help her at all. She is short, but she looked way shorter on the video than what she does in person. Like there's something about the way the camera was on my helmet, and and the angle that it was at, like it just really made her look tiny. And so I don't know, I just got a good chuckle out of that when I was reviewing the video. But I went into this paddle with the mindset of if I swim, I swim, and that was important. And I had to follow Brent, and I had to do things that were outside of my comfort zone. Like, I wasn't following him directly every time down through the water, but if I was wanting to receive his instruction in some of these places, you could tell, like, I'm following right behind him. I had to do things that I wasn't used to doing. It wasn't that I didn't know how to do them. It's just that I just never really did them. And some of that may have been because in the past, I almost flipped over or did something like that just kind of like spooked me. And so, I don't know, I just got in the habit of just bombing through rapids and not really catching the eddies and ferrying and doing all those things. And, as I begin to do bigger stuff, like there's going to be a lot of importance on me doing that from time to time. Now, there's probably still places I can still bomb a rapid, but that's important. So it made me do things. And so it really brought me along. And, that mindset, if we swim, we swim. I think it really helps. It allows for us to make mistakes. And that's important in paddling, because I remember when I first was introduced to whitewater, like the thing was that, we're all in between swims. Like that's the first phrase that I ever remember people telling me, like we're all in between swims. So really what that's saying is that none of us are perfect, and mistakes will at some point be made. Just turn them into learning experiences. And so that's what I went into this with the mindset of. And it just really made me think of like Paul, and when he's writing in Philippians in chapter 3, verses 12 through 15, like I won't quote the passage because another one has come to my mind, but in there he writes that he isn't perfect and he has not really yet attained a certain status or prize, but he presses on towards the prize. And so he follows the will of God in doing that. And so that's just a kind of a short summary of those verses, but that's really the mindset that I had. Like, I want to just press on. If I make a mistake, whatever, I'm just going to go do it, right? And so that's the mindset that I had in this paddle, and I think it was beneficial to me. The other thing that I take away from this as I review this paddle, and I'm not try not to make this devotion like too long and lengthy. I'm a preacher, so that can happen sometimes, but it was this in Ecclesiastes. It's a piece of wisdom literature, It's in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9. It starts in verse 9 here, and I think it's 9 through 12. It says, "Two are better than one because they have good wages for their labor. For if either of them falls, the other one will lift up his companion. But woe to the one who falls when there is not a second one to lift him up. Furthermore, if two lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? And if one can overpower him who is alone, then two can stand against him. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly torn apart." It's important to have community. It's important to have friends. And in the paddling world, I think that is true as well. And so that's something that I noticed, was that through some of my paddles and through being a part of a community and a club, I was able to have people to help me along. That gave me comfort and gave me more confidence as I was on the river to do new things. And so that right there in and of itself is really awesome to have. And in our personal life, that's why we need to be plugged into Bible studies, churches, church groups, things of that nature. We need that church community, that community of believers together. That really helps us. It brings us along. It gives us comfort. It gives us a sense of stability, and it helps us through the difficult times, and it helps us bring us through more difficult things and to build us up and to make us stronger. And so, while it helped me on the river to have community because it gave me, a sense of confidence and comfort, even though I was getting outside of my comfort zone, like I was able to do more because I had this sense of I'm with familiar people who I know what are doing, and they know what they're doing, and it's awesome. So do that. Be plugged in life. Don't be a loner. Don't go out and go solo. Okay, God wants us to be in community with one another, and when we're on the river too, find community. It will help you. It'll help you immensely and help make this whole paddling journey more enjoyable. So I love you guys. God bless. I hope you enjoyed everything, and I hope to see you on the river. And until next time, keep on paddling.